Hi, in this video you will be learning how the months in Brazil compare to the months in the United States, with the main focus being on holidays that make months special to Brazilians versus Americans. This video is more of a cultural note that will include new bonus Portuguese words along with the reinforcement of the vocabulary you learned if you watched the months video. Feel free to watch that video before this video to master saying the months in Brazilian Portuguese. This video will not get into the specifics about how the nations celebrate the holidays for time purposes, but will instead provide an overview of major holidays each nation celebrates. Also, when words are said in Portuguese, there will always be the English translation on your screen. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, since Brazil is located in the southern hemisphere, the seasons in Brazil are, of course, the opposite of
estações
in the United States. Therefore, January is a summer month in Brazil, while being a winter month in the States. However, it is important to note that both nations have diverse climates, so some states in the United States typically receive little to no snow in the winter. And despite Brazil being thought of as receiving no snow, all three states of southern Brazil have received
neve,
before, but it does not happen often. The three states in Brazil that have seen snow are
Paraná, Santa Catarina e Rio Grande do Sul.
Here are the exact times that each season begins in the United States as compared to Brazil for 2017, in which all of the times are opposites. Please note that these are the dates that a majority of the country begins the season, but due to different time zones throughout the two nations, some states of the countries may start a season on a different day. For example, the Eastern time zone of the US that includes New York begins summer on June 21st. This video will not get into the specifics of the weather for each month, with the focus instead being on the holidays that make meses special to Brazil versus the United States. Therefore, the four images below will help indicate what season the country is in during that month. Please note that these images are just common images to portray a season, but only Brazil's southern states actually go through the seasons with the leaves falling.
Primavera, verão, outono, inverno. Vamos começar.
Let's begin. You will notice that the left side in a pastel green represents Brazil, while the pastel red color represents the United States. In January,
Os Estados Unidos. Nós celebramos
New Year's Day on January 1st. Brazil also celebrates New Year's Day, called
Ano Novo,
or
Réveillon, no 1º de janeiro.
also
Os Estados Unidos.
celebrates Martin Luther King Jr. Day on the third Monday of January, celebrating a man who was a great activist in the American Civil Rights Movement. In February,
Os Estados Unidos celebra
Groundhog Day, in which a groundhog is believed to forecast how much longer winter will last when it comes out of his or her hiding on February 2nd. If the groundhog sees his or her shadow, winter weather will continue for 6 more weeks. But if the groundhog does not, spring weather will come before the vernal equinox. Both the US and Brazil celebrate Valentine's Day, called
Dia dos Namorados.
in Brazil. But Brazil celebrates it in
Junho,
the US celebrates it on June.
dia 14 de fevereiro.
Both
Países.
celebrate Carnival pre-Lent Christian celebrations that occur from Friday to Fat Tuesday. In the US, it is called Mardi Gras, that is celebrated mainly in New Orleans with huge street parties.
No Brasil,
The celebrations are called
Carnaval.
It is a huge holiday throughout the nation, but is primarily celebrated in
Rio de Janeiro,
with street parties and parades, lots of dancing, and dazzling costumes. This year, in 2017, Fat Tuesday will be on
dia 18 de fevereiro.
In March, St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday in the United States that takes place on
Dia 17 de março.
in which St. Patrick, a patron saint of Ireland, and Irish culture are celebrated with parades, food, and dancing. No major holidays are celebrated in Brazil during March, unless Easter and Good Friday are during March for the year. In April, Easter and Good Friday, or
Páscoa,
and
Sexta-feira Santa.
are large holidays in both nations, notable to Brazil because it has the largest Catholic population of all nations. Jesus Christ's resurrection will be celebrated on
Dia 16 de abril.
in 2017. Brazil commemorates Tiradentes Day, or
Dia de Tiradentes.
is on April 21st, in which Tiradentes is celebrated, who was hanged in 1792 for being the most enthusiastic propagandist of
Inconfidência Mineira.
which was a social movement standing for liberty against the oppressive Portuguese government in colonial times. On May 1st, Brazil celebrates their Labor Day, known as International Workers' Day in the U.S., but called
Dia do Trabalho no Brasil. Os Estados Unidos e o Brasil celebram.
Mother's Day, called
Dia das Mães.
in Brazil. On
O segundo domingo de maio.
Memorial Day is celebrated
Os Estados Unidos.
on the last Monday of May, in which the nation remembers those who died in military service. Throughout June, Brazil celebrates
Festas juninas.
or June festivals that are Catholic traditions brought to Brazil in the 1500s to celebrate
São João.
or Saint John, while also celebrating the rituals of the people living in the continent before the Europeans came. Additionally, the celebrations were created to prepare for new plantations and harvests. The festivals are celebrated with people dressing up like farm men and women to participate in games and dances while eating a variety of food and drinks. Brazil celebrates Corpus Christi or
Corpus Christi.
60 days after Easter, so Corpus Christi will fall on
Dia 15 de junho.
in 2017.
Corpus Christi.
Is a Catholic feast that is touristic for its decorated carpets in the streets. Also, Brazil celebrates its Valentine's Day called
Dia dos Namorados.
on
Dia 12 de junho.
the U.S.
Celebra.
Father's Day on the third Sunday of
Junho.
in July.
Os Estados Unidos. Celebra.
Its Independence Day, often called the 4th of July, with parades, concerts, and fireworks, along with family gatherings. The U.S. became independent in 1776.
O Brasil não tem grandes feriados em julho.
In August, the U.S. does not have any major holidays. However,
Em agosto, o Brasil celebra
its Father's Day, called
Dia dos Pais.
on the second Sunday of.
Agosto.
In September, the U.S. celebrates its Labor Day on the first Monday
Setembro.
every.
Ano.
Brazil celebrates its Independence Day, called
Dia da Independência.
on.
Dia 7 de setembro. Brasil.
Became independent in 1822.
Outubro, o Brasil celebra o Dia de Nossa Senhora Aparecida.
Called the Day of Our Lady of Aparecida in English, on October 12th, that celebrates the largest saint for Brazilian Catholics.
O Dia de Nossa Senhora Aparecida.
Coincides with Children's Day in Brazil, or
Dia das Crianças, os Estados Unidos celebra.
Halloween on October 31st.
No dia 2 de novembro,
Brazil celebrates
Dia de Finados.
that is a day for honoring the dead that is not as whimsical as Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. People lay flowers and candles on loved ones' graves, and
São Paulo.
about 1.5 million people visit city cemeteries. The U.S. has its election day on the Tuesday after the first Monday of
Novembro.
on
Dia 11 de novembro, os Estados Unidos celebra.
Veterans Day to honor military veterans. On November 15th,
O Brasil celebra a proclamação da República.
or the proclamation of the Republic, with special parades and other government or military events. The stars on the blue globe of the Brazilian flag actually represent the sky
Rio de Janeiro.
on the morning of November 15th, 1889, in which
Marechal Deodoro da Fonseca.
claimed Brazil independent. Each star on the Brazilian flag represents the state of Brazil. On the fourth Thursday of November, the U.S. celebrates Thanksgiving, in which a fall feast between Pilgrims and Wampanoag Indians is celebrated with traditional food, including turkey. The day after Thanksgiving, on
Sexta-feira.
Black Friday is celebrated, in which stores have special offers to mark what is considered the first day of holiday shopping. Crowds of customers are drawn to these special offers as seen in the photo. In
Dezembro.
Hanukkah typically begins that starts the 8 days of holidays for Jews, in which they celebrate a victory in a battle against the Greeks nearly 2,000 years ago that allowed them to practice their religion freely. Hanukkah is a popular holiday in the U.S. that is a nation that inhabits many Jews. Christmas and New Year's Eve, or
Natal.
and
Véspera de Ano Novo.
are all very popular
Feriados.
in both countries. New Year's Eve in Brazil is second compared to
Carnaval.
size and touristic importance. And that wraps up an overview of the major holidays that make certain months special to Brazilians versus Americans. But before the video ends, here are the bonus Portuguese words you learned. minus the months you should already know from the previous video. Pause this video now to think of the English translation for each before the translations appear on the screen.
Obrigado por assistir. Como sempre, deixe sugestões nos comentários.
Also, comment below what your favorite holiday is, or a holiday that is special to the country you are from. As for the next video, you will be learning how to say the numbers 1 through 20 in Portuguese.